dumpy little office in West Covina, California, it's the Foo Bar Show! Hey, what is up, everybody? I am Joe C, and thank you very much for listening into the Foo Bar Show. Thank you for downloading the pod on most major podcast apps, subscribing, and telling a friend like a champ. You can always reach us at Foo Bar Show. That's FOOBarshow.com. And FOO Bar Show is our handle on Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, and Instagram. Check us out. Drop us a line and we'll foo it up like a couple of foos. Ain't that right, foos?
Foos.
Yeah. Foos.
Foos.
On tap today, we have the Foo and we have Steph. Say hello, guys.
What's up, my dudes?
Hello, hello.
You'll all notice that we are missing the Josh today. Unfortunately, he came down with a case of bronchitis and he died. And that's it. That's the end of Josh.
Mm-hmm. Flamethrower extinguished.
Yeah. Steph took the not a flamethrower to him and he's gone. That's it. That's the end of him.
Not a flamethrower.
It's a torch. That? It's a torch. Not a flamethrower.
Good riddance. Anyway, he'll be back on the next pod.
Zombie. Zombie Josh.
One of the things I wanted to talk about, because there's a lot to talk about. A lot has happened since the last podcast because we've switched over to this new format where we're doing every Thursday and Saturday shows now. But I wanted to recap a little bit of what happened at the Fallen Electric show at the Glendora Continental on Friday. And you guys have been to the Glendora Continental. It's very lodgy, very much like a cabin.
It reminds me of a ski trip where you go congregate at the bar.
Yep,
Yeah.
there's
In
just
the
a
little lounge area.
Right.
giant moose head
They're
hanging
just
over
they're just
everybody.
missing that fireplace, which is why they have the band, right?
Right. Yeah, I would imagine that's where the fireplace would go. It's very much, it would host a nice banquet. You know, but
It is advertised as a banquet hall as well.
yeah.
There's a banquet room.
Well, there is that.
I think you were advertising steak too, weren't you?
Oh, yeah, they have a nice porter steak. Yeah, anyway. So we usually play from 9 to 1 a.m. And usually the first set, which we would play anywhere from 9 to 10, 15-ish. That's usually like the dinner crowd. That still kind of lingers on, who's still finishing up their dinner and shit like that. So not the crowd that really comes and shows up for us. I mean, when we start playing, it's really much of a surprise to them. But this has never happened before, and I thought it was fucking hilarious when this little old lady, who I guess is affiliated with the venue somehow, she starts acting like a fucking infant, and she goes up to she's going around, I guess, taking suggestions from the crowd. She's acting like a little kid with her elbows out and her index fingers stuck in her ears because apparently we're being too loud.
Wow.
This bitch is well into her 70s or 80s or something, and she starts marching. She marches up, still elbows out, fingers in her ears, starts marching up to the stage and starts yelling something at me. Again, I can't hear her because I'm really into the song that we're playing. And I'm like, what? Keep in mind, we're playing a song at this point. And I'm like, the Chili Peppers? You got it, lady.
She just starts throwing a tantrum.
She starts throwing a tantrum. And she stomps back away because obviously she couldn't hear me if I couldn't hear her. But after the song was done, he's like, this lady requested the Chili Peppers, but very softly. So dig this! And then we start playing the Chili Peppers.
They have a giant
Vengeance
marquee on the corner of the street. So it says who's going to be performing that night. But I guess you just didn't take that
I don't know.
into
This
account.
bitch told me to get off her lawn, for the first half of
She's
the
all
first
racist
set.
about it too, huh?
Right.
Well, I don't know about that. But
you're telling
half the band
get off
was
her
black that night, so who knows?
Whoa.
Oh, Drew and Brandon.
Whoa.
Yeah. By the way, Brandon fucking killed it.
Oh, yeah?
He killed
Yeah.
it on the drums, dude. He that guy came through. We asked him, Brandon, learn 4 hours worth of music. He's like, you got it, and he pretty much did. He was on point with it. He had it on Instagram Live. Yeah, dude, that guy made it happen, and I'm pretty happy the way it went down. Unfortunately, Richie couldn't join us that night because he was out doing security or some kind of work for CalJam. So
Nice.
he was fortunate enough to be at CalJam and pretty much see the bands that were playing. By the way, did you guys see who came out with Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters towards the end?
No.
Joan Jett.
Joan Jett. And his name escapes me, but pretty much the singer of Puddle of Mud to do Nirvana. Nirvana pretty much reunited without Kurt, but they replaced them with him and Joan Jett. That they pretty much did a full on Nirvana set, which is pretty impressive.
Wow.
So it sounded great. I wish I was there. Maybe next time. I'm sure this isn't the first time that the Foo Fighters are gonna allow a chunk of time, to dedicate to Nirvana too. So that's something that I
was
think.
it like an anniversary of Nirvana?
No, I don't think so.
Just something to do.
It's just some. It's Cal Jam. It's the Foo Fighters' festival. So I mean, why the fuck not? So, Foo, anything new happened to you? Because you missed the last show because you left the oven on back in Footopia.
Yeah, Foo. I had to see. The thing about Footopia is if you fall asleep, you can get back there.
Really?
You just can't stay there.
So, what does that mean?
So when I fall asleep, it's because I'm visiting Footopia. It's kind of like that whole Jedi thing where you see their spirits.
Okay.
Except that's me at Footopia.
So that adds to the Footopia lore that we've been discussing on this show for some time now.
So you can't understand if you're human. So if you're human and you're listening, I apologize.
Okay, that's almost everyone.
But did you turn off the oven?
No, but it's okay over there because
yeah, was that taken care of, dude?
It doesn't matter because I turned it off. I'll tell you what.
Well, good job.
Turned it right back off.
Told us.
That deserves a little golf clap.
Yeah. Also, I finally fixed the undercarriage of my car.
You have a car?
Shut up.
On Earth or in Footopia?
Yeah, man.
It's a rental.
It's a piece of shit Dodge Charger. You got that.
Oh, well, it's only a piece of shit because you didn't take care of it.
Well, Foo, potato.
Well, then.
It didn't take care of me either. Well, don't get me started.
Oh, all right, man.
This guy comes through the door. Do we have any large scissors? Why? I need to gut my car.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, do you even know what you're doing when you're working on your car?
I cut a couple tubes. The rest should fall in line, I hope.
All right.
All right. Well, anyway.
4 wheels and a seat.
Because we don't have Josh, everybody would think, so what's going to happen with sports? What's going to happen with the nerd news? Well, I'll tell you, man. The Foo used to be on this show as my sidekick, and I think he could still pull it off this time around. So, without further ado, let's get it on with the nerd news.
Oh.
This is interesting.
That nice alternate
Walking
song.
Dead title song. Anyway, this nerd news is brought to you by Amazon. If anybody likes to contribute to the show, you don't have to pay us any money necessarily. Go to foobarshow.com, scroll all the way down to where you see the link for Amazon. Click through that and do your regular shopping.
Done.
And we get credit for it. Help us out. Do that. We'll love you for it.
Buy you a beer.
Huh?
We'll buy you a beer.
We'll buy you a beer, and that's about it.
A beer.
One beer. Anyway, so Walking Dead, it was the season premiere this last Sunday. Steph, what did you think?
It was amazing. So this takes place after the Negan storyline, and
Don't spoil it.
Oh right. Are you going to catch up, Lou?
I will, but just don't spoil it for our listeners if they haven't seen it.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Yeah, it's only been a couple of days. I guess I don't give a fuck, but anybody else, I guess, wants to give it a week,
Well,
right?
I'd say if you're for a TV series, yeah, give them a week.
Okay.
okay,
So-
well, I will say this. Based on what we've seen from the previews, there's a time jump.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a time jump, but I think we've known that. I think that's
Yeah.
kind of been advertised up there. Some time has passed since they captured Negan, and they're trying to rebuild. That's
Old man Rick.
well, he's not that old, but yeah, Judith is a little older now, and Rick, he's a little grayer.
Carl's still dead.
And Carl's still
Carl
dead,
is
thank
still
goodness. And some shit goes down. You actually see some poetic justice go down at the end of the episode where Maggie takes charge, and she doesn't take shit from anybody. You can tell.
That's not giving anything away, Foo.
No, I'm not saying it.
And
is.
you know, and
she's been pretty hardcore since Glenn died. So
oh yeah, she's no nonsense anymore because I mean that's the reality of the world that they live in. But Rick doesn't want to take it or think of it that way. So they kind of shifted in a way. Like Rick is more of a pacifist now, and he's trying to rebuild and build society where it once was again. And Maggie's just like, fuck that. You know, we still got a long way to go, and there's a lot of people who need to be weeded out.
he finally became Herschel, and she finally became Rick.
Well, it's also
Damn.
very much advertised as Rick's last season with The Walking Dead. So who knows? I mean, with everything that's going down and the dynamics that are playing out, even on this first episode, I'm really excited to see what's going to go down.
Well, I would imagine after 9 years of actually fighting for your life.
Damn, it's been 9 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get tired fighting too. You just want to put the machete down or his python,
Yeah.
put it away.
And
He's
then,
got that sick ass fucking Magnum looking gun,
That's
right?
the python.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm excited for the rest of the season. A lot of people who I've been talking to aren't so much excited because they're kind of over it. It's been 9 seasons, so I mean, you're picking up new crowds. You're ruining it for older crowds.
To kind of tease, because I kind of know what's going on a little bit. Did you guys hear in the previews kind of what was going down? And this isn't spoiling anything for any listeners, but on the previews, when they had 2 of the folk we've never seen before, they like jump into a bank and then they cover themselves in mud. And if you're just watching, you won't notice, but you have to literally turn the volume all the way up.
Okay.
And as the walkers are coming, you can hear the walkers say, "Where did they go?"
Oh.
Really low. So
So in the comic books,
I know that.
There's a group of people that walks amongst the walkers.
yes,
What are they called, Steph?
The Whispers.
the Whispers. Yeah.
And that's how they survive.
Yes. They literally wear zombie flesh
Okay.
and
they
move
blend
like
in.
them and blend in. Yeah. They've taken the camo to another level, so they basically control the herd, really.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be pretty interesting to see what goes down.
Right on. Well, I'm excited to see what goes down next. And Foo, before we started the show, you were telling me about some news about James Gunn.
Oh yeah.
What's up with that?
So, James Gunn, still shit can from Disney, man. You're
Okay.
welcome.
All right.
Just kidding. He's well, it's no longer a rumor. He has officially become the screenwriter for Suicide Squad Part 2.
Okay.
Which was already greenlit apparently like a week after the first one.
Uh-huh.
Shit reviews, did amazingly box office numbers.
Right.
But I guess they're still in the works to see if he can direct it. But for sure, he's writing the script.
Oh, so he's absolutely the writer of that script.
Absolutely. David Ayer is busy filming Bright 2.
Oh.
That Netflix. What was it?
Yeah, it was
with
a
Will
Netflix.
Smith.
Yeah, there you
and,
go.
uh-huh.
I think it was it was the first Netflix original movie.
One of the first ones.
One of the first ones with Will Smith.
One of the first Netflix with like a big A-list star like Will Smith.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So David Ayer, who made the first Suicide Squad, he's working on Bright 2, and he fully endorsed James Gunn. And check this out, Dave Bautista, who is Drax,
Yeah.
he is like, I want to be in DC now.
Oh shit.
What?
Because a lot.
He was one of the loudest people in defense of James Gunn.
A lot of the other MCU actors were also in defense, but Disney's just like, dude, fuck you. We're the mouse. Get the fuck out of here. Probably not that direct, but they were like,
I wouldn't
no.
be surprised if they're like, "We're the fucking mouse, son."
I mean, yeah, they
Well,
can.
I mean, they just killed off half their characters, so they can start again.
Yeah, so
Or did they?
so we got in James Gunn for Suicide Squad 2. It looks like DC's got a fighting chance there, Tugga.
Well, I'm curious because is he gonna write the Suicide Squad like to redo it, to reboot it,
So-
or are they still using the old characters?
It's still on the table. They don't know yet because he just came on, and there's been no official well, supposedly they're going to use some of the same characters. There's been no official recast yet.
okay.
But I suspect if they want to improve, they fucking better recast at least some of those people. And you know what? They better show fucking not Killer Croc. Who's that other guy? The shark?
What is his name?
What
I know
does
who
he
you're
do?
talking about it.
He's just like, Killer Croc is like a big croc?
Yeah.
This guy's like a huge shark. He was in The
He ha-
Flash
he
in the
has shark
live TV
teeth.
series.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, what is his name?
Remember Street Sharks?
Oh, dude.
Street Sharks.
I saw like a little video of that last week. Brought back memories.
That was a good show.
They had a really lame intro,
They
but
were
like
jerks.
it was awesome.
It was fine.
Yeah, so Suicide Squad 2, James Gunn. I think it should do okay. Better than all the DCU bullshit coming out. And who knows what the fuck's going on with Henry Cavill.
Yeah,
Posted
I have
some
no clue what's going
cryptic-ass
on.
video.
Still.
So I know James Gunn is pretty forward thinking, and he'll probably make it a good movie. So I'm not too worried about it, to be honest. I'm actually more enthused. For
I'm
DC
curious.
At this
I'm
point.
gonna watch it because I'm just fucking curious, and I'm sure it'll get good reviews because everything he's put out has been pretty decent.
He has a really kind of a cult following, and he showed what he could do with the big budget with Guardians.
It's just unfortunate that he tried being funny on Twitter how many years ago, and none of those punches landed. But I mean, Disney knew about that even back then, and they still let him write a couple movies for him. And now that a right winger kind of try to put him in the crosshairs of some political thing, it just became a thing again, and they fired him. So yeah. So anyway, moving on. Steph, you were telling me about how DC has branched out into some R-rated comics.
Right. Okay.
So how does that work?
So I made a little diagram for everybody. Welcome to class. Okay. So under DC Comics, there's like 5. They call them imprints. So 5 sub comic book labels. So one of them being Vertigo, and one of them being this new Black label. So Vertigo Comics, they are allowed more creative freedom as far as explicit content, nudity, and violence. And it's all new material. So some of the comic books or characters that you've seen coming out of Vertigo's, sort of like Hellblazer, like Constantine, Swamp Thing, iZombie, Lucifer, Preacher, very popular names.
Yeah.
With this new Black label, they're actually reprinting some old comic books or some recent comic books with explicit content.
Oh, sick.
And one of the comic books that came out, the first comic that came out, let me see. I have it up here.
Dang,
was
so they're having explicit content. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, for the adult audience.
Right, but Vertigo's been going on since the 90s. So that's already there. But with Black Label, they wanted to take some already ongoing comic books, so, like Batman. Batman Damned specifically was the first comic book to come out with reprinted explicit content. And the issue that came out last month in September that was reprinted actually showed a couple of pages of Batman penis.
Oh, shit.
And a lot of people weren't too
They were
happy
disappointed,
about
not
that.
Batman.
What was he doing with it?
Well, I don't know.
He just whipped it out
was
on a
just-
page?
It was just
That was
swinging.
that?
Just
Okay.
swinging.
Well, like, did he just get done with a couple of models? Or?
Batpole. Yeah. I don't know, man. I
God
didn't read
damn
it.
Okay.
So anyway, they...
So you're talking about
So
some guy's
criti-
cock.
Right.
Bruce Wayne, to be specific.
His real name is Bruce. So some of the critics who saw this reprinted issue think that the artist went too far, but it's an explicit label. So they have all this creative freedom.
So
And
is
it's
it
for
like X-rated or?
Yeah, it's full frontal nudity.
Okay, all right.
And it's animated. And it's labeled for mature readers. Kids, can't buy it. You have to show your ID,
Okay.
whatever.
So it's next to like the.
I just think it's in the back. You just have to ask for it.
Okay.
Because it can't just be like,
It's with the Playboys.
it can't be there on display. You know how like when we go to the comic shops and everything.
So you got to go
Right.
to a DVD store to get a comic book.
They
that's
have to
X-rated.
invite you
They still have
behind.
DVD stores?
Yeah.
They sure do, buddy.
Oh shit.
You have to be.
Yeah, you would.
Or
know.
so
You
I
have
hear.
to be
So I
invited
hear.
behind the curtain. The smelly bald bouncer has to check your ID, and then
This is not
they'll open a
sounding
door.
Right. It's
And-
isn't it usually like a middle-aged Asian dude who's just judging you the entire time that you're in?
That's the owner,
Okay.
and he's always looking at you. And there's like, smile, you're on camera. And there's like 10 cameras.
Right,
facing
right.
you at all
Cameras
times.
to prevent a $5 theft.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Hey, speaking of Batman, how did you like that movie we watched the other day, Bad Blood?
Bad Blood was fucking sick, dude. It explains, for everybody who hasn't seen it yet, it pretty much explains the beginning of what is it, Foo? I'm trying to think of the Batgirl shows up at the end, but it's pretty much what happens.
It shows the beginning of the Bat family.
The Bat family. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, where it incorporates Bruce Wayne's son. Who's Robin at this point because Damian. Nightwing is already a thing, but then he becomes Batman in the middle of the show because Batman is thought to be dead, but he's doing some investigative work so that his image isn't dead.
And they played that right because, like, what's his name? Damian was just like, I bet you're getting off wearing the suit, and then fucking Nightwing's like, you think I want to fucking do this shit?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they played that perfectly.
And Batwoman, which is she
totally unrelated to them.
Yeah.
She's the daughter of a retired Navy commandant or something.
Right.
So she's kind of establishing herself. Mm-hmm. So she kind of shows a mini origin. She was inspired by Batman.
Yeah.
Now she does her own thing, and it was dope because while they were going through Batman's files, Batman like had a self-log that was like, should I train her or should I take her down? And I was just like, fuck yeah, dude.
He knows his shit. Like he has a plan for everybody he encounters.
It was a good Batman movie, dude.
And what about tell everybody about the Batwing also.
Batwing. It was
Lucius Fox's son,
who I didn't know existed. By the way,
I didn't know he had a son.
But he has a son who used to be in the military or something along those lines. Mm-hmm. And he actually, the villains, I'm kind of spoiling it, but fuck it.
Yeah,
the villains break into Batman's like armory, and Lucius Fox's son has to don a suit and takes it upon himself to help. Even though Nightwing's like, don't help because he doesn't want him to get fucking killed or anything.
Right. Because he's not a trained
Exactly.
guy, yeah.
And he takes upon himself to help and then comes in clutch, has a sick ass fucking like an Iron Man type of Batman suit. It's
more like War Machine.
Yeah, more like War Machine.
Yeah.
It was. I thought it was a good take on it. I'd never heard of that character before. But I thought it was a good...
They played it really well.
They did, and the movie was just really good.
It was really well written. I wish the actual live-action movies were that good. I recommend everybody check out Bad Blood, a Batman animated movie.
Where'd you watch it?
It's on Netflix, I think.
I think it was... Yeah.
Yeah, you can catch
Netflix.
it on Netflix. Yeah, you just catch it on there. You will not be sorry.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely worth your time.
Worth your time. It's a great movie. Even if you're not into comic books, it's just a good fucking action movie. So
well written too.
Oh, totally.
Before we get end this nerd news, Steph, I wanted to get your feelings on this. They're coming out with the Dragon Ball movie, super movie, Broly. They're revamping Broly. It's going to be new canon, but this is the part I want to get your initial reaction on. They're changing Goku's origins.
So why though?
I don't. There's some reason for it, but it goes something along this. He still goes to Earth and all that. However, when he leaves, he's not an infant. He's like 3 or 4 years old. So he's raised on planet Vegeta. And then Goku's dad and mom, they introduced the mom for the first time. They send him off to Earth.
Is that a change? Because I remember in the Dragon Ball series, he was like a toddler. Like he was already able to walk around.
Well, because he was Saiyan. And then they sent him through space, so he had to grow a little bit. That's why he's a little bit...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But when he lands, he's...
When he lands, he's kind of like, in the infant stages. But they're totally changing his origin. And they're saying that's going to be the new canon.
Interesting.
For Super. So it's just... It's going to be explained really well in the movie.
Is it going to change his adult life as well?
No, because
they're just changing his origin.
It looks like we're just gonna have to wait and see.
I know, yeah, because
this is really confusing.
I will post will post on the Foo Bar Show Facebook the trailer with it. So.
I would imagine if he's a little bit older when he gets to Earth, he would just destroy Earth.
Well, because
like he's supposed to.
It doesn't change that he leaves when he's a baby. That's changing now. Now he's leaving when he's a toddler, because every origin or the origin is he got shot off the planet while he was a baby. That's just how the Saiyans rolled. They just deployed their babies to take over worlds.
Crazy.
Crazy. So instead of instead of him leaving as an infant, he gets raised a little bit by his dad and mom.
Yeah.
And then he gets sent to Earth.
So those just a really quick recap of what happens to Saiyan, because Jose doesn't know what we're talking about.
I don't watch Dragon Ball, guys. I'm just not in.
Cat's out of the bag.
Technically, an infant or toddler Saiyan can destroy one planet, because when they get hit by a full moon, then they turn into this ape, and then they destroy everything.
It unleashes a great power, so it's guaranteed that they're gonna fuck up the planet they land on.
Yeah, and they're
and then Goku's the first one where he got amnesia and he forgot that he was Saiyan. So that's why he's a hero, not a villain.
Yeah, so that's why in the early Dragon Ball episodes you see him with a tail.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Because he's a natural Saiyan. But yeah, they're gonna change his origin. I'm looking forward to it. It's pretty cool the way they're taking the new universe now that they got Toriyama back. So
Toriyama's back.
He's back.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Also, before we end, I want to talk about a couple other things. So the last time we were talking about the nerd news, we brought up Venom and how it was getting shitty reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. I still haven't seen it. I probably will now that I've seen the audience score after it being out for about a week or so. Now, granted,
it's a solid 80-something, right?
Well, hang on. Granted, the tomato meter for critics has been going steadily down. I think when we last reported it, it was in the mid-30s. It's now a solid 30% rotten. It's getting some shitty reviews. I mean, I'm on Rotten Tomatoes right now. This one critic, she's a top critic, Kate Gardner. She says, "Is it a comedy? Is it an action film? Venom makes no pretense of being anything more than a superhero film, trading the thematic material present in most major superhero ventures for biting off people's heads." But
man, I don't know why you read those reviews. You know you're going to watch it.
The audience score gives it an 89%. I mean,
let him finish.
Some people seem to be liking it.
Who cares? If you like it, you're going to like it.
Yeah, but I mean, Rotten Tomatoes is pretty on point most of the time, and it's good for them because they provide you the audience score. You can actually go on there and tell them what you think.
No, we missed a lot of good movies because you went on this Rotten Tomatoes website and didn't like what the number said. And then,
I saved money is what I did. And then we got it later on DVD or Netflix. Nevertheless, I think we should check it out at some point, Steph, if you don't mind. Maybe we can catch a double feature at the drive-in with, what's that other movie that we said was coming out?
The Noon?
The Nun?
The Nun. The Noon.
But that's been out.
Yeah, that's been out.
The Nun, I'm looking at the tomato meter on that, and that piece of shit's 26. And the audience gave that a 41.
Still scary. Still gonna watch it.
Yeah, nevertheless, I think it might still be a scary movie that we can enjoy.
Look, you're just terrible with movies, and you never want to watch anything.
Yeah, well,
he's only terrible with the remote in his hand trying to pick a movie, but
come on, I'm not the only one. Everybody out there on the who's listening to this will attest to when you're trying to find something on Netflix.
Scroll for hours.
You're scrolling for at least 30 minutes. It's part of the fucking adventure of going to Netflix.
You know what happens at the end of the 30 minutes?
These are facts.
We go to bed. That's what happens.
That happens when you get old like us. So
Anyway, last thing I wanted to talk about, because it's just somewhat nerdy, and I'm a little bit of a Banksy enthusiast. I have it on my laptop. But
congratulations, Foo.
Banksy, he's Foo. You don't know who Banksy is. Banksy is a very popular artist who he's very famous for his stencil work. He's like a guerrilla stencil artist. So he goes around to major cities. He started off in England, and he does it all over the world, really, where he would spray paint a stencil, an already prepared stencil of something onto a wall. But usually his art has some kind of meaning or message towards it. So most recently, one of his art pieces sold for $1.4 million. Am I right?
Yeah, I think the picture was the girl with the balloon.
The little girl with the red balloon. And as soon as the gavel hit the fucking the table, the thing started beeping uncontrollably, like an alarm just went off, and then the picture started going down and shredding itself. Like it started to self-destruct itself. It was fucking amazing. It was the most Joker thing I've ever seen happen.
You can see the auction hall, right? And then everybody's just like, what is that noise? Because the picture is in its own frame.
Right.
So you're buying the picture with the frame. The auctioneers didn't frame it themselves. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, you can just see the guy, the auctioneer on the phone, and he's making the sale. He's transferring all the numbers, and then everybody just kind of takes a look at the wall. And, oh, no.
Yeah.
It just, like, speeds up and then shreds itself, like,
but it didn't shred
through.
itself all the way. It was like 2/3 of the way down,
right,
where it shredded itself. So now that's part of its art, like its own thing. So now I'm hearing that this piece is now worth more. It's gonna, like, if they wanted to resell this piece, it'd be worth over $2 million.
Oh, I bet.
Because of the stunt that he pulled. So, and
God damn.
Yeah, years ago when he created that art piece and he had it framed, there's video of him. Now, it doesn't show him because Banksy, he's anonymous. Like, you don't know what this guy looks like. Nobody does. And by the way, if you guys want to check out a little bit of a history of Banksy, check out the documentary Exit Through the Gift Shop is what the documentary is called. Very good documentary. I checked it out a few years back. But it gives you a little bit of an insight of what Banksy's all about, his artwork, and what other street artists say about him. Nice. So it shows the
his
video.
His name is super catchy, by the way.
Yeah, Banksy. He apparently is chummy with the guy who did Ferry. He's the guy who painted the Obama Hope poster that became popular during the 2008 election. Anyway, there's a video of Banksy putting the shredder, or installing the shredder into the picture frame, so that when it gets bought, I guess somebody, either he does it remotely, or he has somebody in the crowd presses a button and the fucking painting just starts shredding itself off of the frame.
What's funny is the what is the word? The curators didn't know that there was a shredder.
Nobody knew, which was awesome. It's like the fucking Joker did it. You know, that's what was so awesome about it. Like, it happened in a very high class area. It was very much a Gotham City, something that would happen in Gotham City.
It's just like, you think this is worth $1.4 million? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Like, take that, motherfucker. But man, that really put a smile on my face, man. I thought it was fucking hilarious. But anyway, that was nerd news. Nerd! Well, Foo.
Yes.
I haven't busted this out in a while, but remember when we used to have a science segment when you were the sidekick?
Yeah.
Well, here we go. Well, the first thing I wanted to talk about, and I'm not going to get political here, but I just want to make a few corrections.
Jesus Christ,
because the whole thing with Kavanaugh is in the news, and one thing that really grinds my gears is when people get science incorrect. There's this whole thing, and Steph, you can back me up on this. The whole thing about contraception. I mean, the whole thing with Kavanaugh. I mean, we can talk about that till the fucking cows come home. But the language that he's using to describe contraception is really bugging the shit out of me. Let's see here. He's calling it an abortion-inducing drug. And that's just not the case, because a contraception is to prevent the actual egg from getting fertilized. So,
right.
Yeah.
So if the sperm never fertilizes the egg, then there's no abortion.
Yeah, there's no abortion to be had.
Right.
By golly, you mean our government's wrong?
If you think about, like, okay, contraceptive, like a condom, right? Is that an anti-abortion drug? No, because the sperm never actually enters the vagina.
Unless your sperm can fertilize itself.
Well, maybe a Futopian sperm can. But
okay, I don't know how.
Don't get me started on that fucking.
That's a whole
beast of
project.
Anatomy, dude.
I'm gonna have to dissect you one day. Just like.
But like, what the fuck's going on with our country when like language like this is being used to sway people to think a certain way? Like, it fucking sucks.
Did you know that before this happened, that teenage pregnancies were at an all-time low in this country?
Really?
All-time low.
Uh-huh.
People are just getting smarter. The contraceptives are getting more readily available, and
intervention government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
there's all these
private programs to help teenagers. And now, boom, that's all going to go away.
They want to take that away, and I think we're going to be back to fucking a bunch of people shitting out a bunch of unwanted kids.
Which
and
is
then
terrible because it means our country is contemplacent with a certain number of our population never making it or even having a decent life.
Yeah, because they're unwanted children. And whether you like it or not, I mean, these kids are going to grow up in an unwanted environment, and they're not going to be...
They're not going to be role
raised.
model citizens, dude.
Yeah, it's going to suck. This is... He thinks he's doing the public a service by inflicting this, and it's not. It's not. It's a nutty fucking religious ideology, and it's going to hurt us in the long run. It fucking sucks. Anyway, moving on. I just wanted to bring that up because everybody should know that that's not what contraception is. And if you think
PSA.
Yeah.
So
PSA.
Contraception, in other words, is a condom. It's a birth control pill. You can get the IUD, which is an implant that goes into the uterus.
The vagina?
The vagine. The
Right.
vagine. You know, I never had one, so I don't know where it goes. And then
You
you
never
can
had a vagine?
And then you can get, or like there's the like a Nuva ring.
Uh-huh.
That you can get.
I've seen that. It looks weird.
It's a clear ring, and then you just put it up there, or you can get the arm implant, or you can just pull out.
Or you can, no, the pull out.
Well,
don't do that,
method
everyone.
is about 90% effective, but that 10%, I'll tell you.
Yeah, that 10%, you really need it. So
That 10%'s not going
when
to
she won't
survive in
get
this
off.
government.
You're like, bitch, get off. I'm about there. Anyway, moving on. You guys saw that big light in the sky on Sunday that everybody thought was an alien spacecraft? Was that you, Foo?
Everyone thought
Re-entry.
I was just trying to warm up the jets, Foo. And this is what happens. Just a little cosmic dust gets in the air and everyone freaks out like I'm jumping through time.
Well, on Sunday night, October 7th, a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket successfully launched from the Vandenberg Air Force Base on California's Central Coast. And the two-stage booster's first stage landed back at Vandenberg's less than 8 minutes after liftoff, pulling off SpaceX's first ever terra firma touchdown on California soil.
California.
Foo, did you watch the video of it?
Yeah, it looks awesome,
Beautiful.
dude. It
Looks
looks
Time lapse.
beautiful.
fucking
Oh,
awesome.
the colors.
The time-lapse one
Yep.
is fucking amazing.
So much potential wasted on our goddamn planet, dude. That's all I can say.
But yeah, hats off to SpaceX for putting this together. They really brought that technology forward.
Reusable
decades.
material.
Yeah, it's so much cheaper now to go into space, to deliver things to the ISS, to go to different worlds. I'm very optimistic with this whole thing, and fucking Elon Musk is like a little kid. Like people were asking him, what would you put in there? It's like the most fun shit you'll ever
Yeah.
think of.
Something to not be bored in space.
Yeah.
Right? He just wants to have fun.
Hell
Speaking
yeah.
of Elon, guess what came in the mail this weekend? It's my Boring Company fire extinguisher.
Oh, what?
Finally.
Yeah, didn't we highlight when we went to SpaceX to pick up the not the flamethrower like months ago?
I think that was like in April,
Was that like
April?
episode 3
That
of
was
this
like-
podcast?
It was like April, May,
It
or
was
something like
That
that.
was like 3 years ago.
Right? So this thing finally got shipped to my house.
Yeah, and tell everybody why I was so pissed.
Okay. The reason why Josie is so pissed is because the Boring Company logo, I keep hitting myself in the head with this thing. It's a sticker.
Yeah, it's not like they painted
It's
it.
really a non-issue,
It's
though.
not-
That's a non-issue.
But how much was the fucking extinguisher?
$30.
Yeah, $30 when you can just go like to Walmart for like what, 10, 15?
No?
They're a little pricey, dude. They're a little pricey.
This is like an average price fire extinguisher. This is a household fire extinguisher.
I
It's
don't
not
like
the
it.
big, bulky
I don't like it.
red ones. It's white, and the Boring
I
Company
don't like
sticker is
them.
black. Look at it.
I don't like them safety folk either, Foo.
Yeah.
Always telling you to put shit out.
Now, Foo, now that we've covered that, and I can't wait to put a fire out, by the way. I hope we actually get to use it for the amount you spent on it. Moving on. Foo, you were telling me about this chicken cooked rare
Oh my
thing that's going
God,
on.
dude.
Wow.
I don't know why this is catching fire again.
Yes.
Or
But-
not
Dumb.
catching fire.
Literally not staying on the fire long enough.
Right.
I don't know why today was just of all days. I decided to click on this goddamn this post by Tasty.
Why would Tasty post this?
To be fair, they're
shitting on it.
Their caption was 15 people who should never be allowed near a kitchen.
Okay.
So they were shitting on it. And then the most enraging pieces of half-cooked chicken ensue in 15 pictures.
Oh,
one
gross.
that you saw looked like it was fucking pastrami still. It was all thinly sliced.
Yeah, it was gross.
Not cooked, still red. Dude, this is disgusting.
So people are undercooking
So
their chicken
people-
purposely
yes.
and calling it medium rare chicken.
Medium rare chicken or medium rare chicken steak.
No, no. You
And
never do
I didn't know
that.
what chicken.
Salmonella, dude.
I didn't know chicken was a steak. First of all,
Uh-huh.
and second of all, I agree. If I even have a little bit of pink in my chicken and it's still cooked, I already get grossed out. Imagine fucking biting into fucking something that's still nice and.
There's a picture of like the chicken like barely cooked, maybe like a quarter inch around the
maybe
sides, and then
seared.
seasoned. It was like seasoned with pepper, salt, and it's like, oh, happy to have my medium rare steak.
Remember, I think one
steak.
Foo said, if you don't eat your chicken medium rare, don't speak to me.
Don't speak to me.
Or
There's
it's
a lot
like-
of those.
Yeah, god damn, dude. And also, people love to troll. I read a couple of the trolls, and a couple of the trolls are just like, one of the guy that stood out was like, "Wait, everyone, don't tell them anything. Let them eat it."
Yeah, let them eat it.
It'll
it'll thin their-
Darwinism.
But still, like when you see these pictures, it's just like there's no way some guys just like willfully eating this shit because they're gonna get sick.
I think on one of them too, I saw this lady was just like, first of all, you're half cooking this chicken. Second of all, where the fuck is the seasoning on your chicken?
Oh, gross.
For those of you who don't know, chicken's supposed to be cooked to a temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you don't have a meat thermometer, cut that chicken open and make sure it's not pink on the inside. You stupid.
I know.
Stupid.
That's the only advice the Foo Bar Show will give you this time.
Well, this kind of shit really wants me to flip the fucking table.
Poor
Plutes.
dog.
Fucking plutes. Anyway, that's been science.
That was a very informative and educational at the end.
Thanks, Foo. Well, we'll be right back.